Muscles. That's what I'm going to talk about today. I've talked about how stress affects our immune system, our heart, and some other things. Today I'm going to focus on our muscles, especially the muscles in our arms and our legs. When we first trigger the stress response and release all that adrenaline, it wicks fat and glucose from our heads, from our arms, and from our legs, and brings it all right to the center of our bodies. So when we did that wicking, we also pulled water out of the cells. So all the cells in your major muscle groups are now dehydrated. That's why you may start to feel your limbs shake a little bit. For violinists, pianists, musicians, we'll be playing along and the bow will start to shake because we've wicked that water right out of all those muscle tissues. Also, when that flood happens, you can actually watch it go up the back of someone's legs or up their arms. Their arms will turn red and their legs will turn red when that blood flow is happening, along with their face. Some people's face doesn't turn red at all. I watched someone performing the other day and their face didn't turn red, but their neck turned red and their arms turned red. So it's kind of interesting how different each one of us is when it comes to all this change in our body with stress. Let's get back to the muscles. So we've wicked fat and glucose out of these muscles and the water. So our muscles are now dehydrated, they're shaky, they are not strong. And now we're going to ask them to perform. If we're athletes, we're about to enter into our competition, and now we need all our coordination as well. Well, when adrenaline goes out into the fibers of our reflexes, it hypers them, which is why you'll see little leaguers or even college players. I've seen college players fumble around for the ball when they've missed the ball. First of all, they didn't even catch the ball. Well, their eyesight changed and their reflexes have hypered. So they may try to reach like this, but they'll overreach. I see it with pianists when they will overshoot the keys. They'll be playing along just fine and then suddenly they'll trigger and they will overreach. They'll have a memory lapse and they'll shoot higher on the keys. With violinists, we'll shift higher. We'll overshoot the shift. These reflexes are hypering because we're supposed to violently fight or flee very far, very fast. So coordinated muscle motion goes out the window. That's why you'll see things like, I call it the testosterone shot, but really it's the adrenaline shot in hockey, where you've seen people hit the net time and time again in practice, and then in the game, they'll shoot over the net or beyond the two sides of the net. They don't shoot on net, even after many, many years of playing hockey. What is that? Well, their reflexes have hypered. So when they take that shot, they're going too far with that shot. Well, if they're lifting the shot, they're lifting it too high. If they're trying to get an angle shot, they'll go too far with the angle. I see it with volleyball too, with serving. Basketball, it's classic. It's you throw a brick, you just pounded it up there. Your body is not coordinated. Plus, your hands are all sweaty, which isn't a very good feeling, especially in some sports like basketball or golf. Muscles also take a real toll when the second flood of hormones goes out. So after the body says, okay, threat's gone, what are we going to do next? Well, the cortisol or glucocorticoids are going to go out to all these cells to get the fat, sugar, salt, and water content back to normal so that fat can transport in and out, and you've repowered your cells. However, when you put a whole bunch of cortisol into these muscle fibers, it actually makes your muscles smaller. Scary. And your bones smaller too. So your muscles atrophy when you trigger too much stress hormone. That's pretty serious when you're an athlete. So if you do a workout, let's say you're doing a strength workout, and you're going to work that muscle group in 48 hours, going to give it 2 days of rest before you work that muscle group again. If you've triggered the stress response, then for up to 9 hours if you're a male, and up to 24 hours if you're a female, you've compromised those muscle tissues. They're not stretching, growing, and regrowing and getting stronger. They're actually atrophying. Otherwise, some people who work out a lot should be really, really huge by now, based on how much they work out. But stress takes such a toll on our muscles and our bones. So the message here is you don't want to mess with that. You want to keep your body clean of stress hormones. Just like we keep our body clean of other drugs, hopefully, heroin, cocaine, you name the drug. We want to keep our body clean from releasing these drugs inside us to perform at our very best. And for our muscles, bones, and basically every cell of our body to be in its optimal condition. So as an athlete, you want to work up into your athletic heart rate, but you don't want to trigger so high that you trigger fight or flight. How will you know? Your hands will start to get really sweaty. Your face may turn red. Your limbs will start to shake, and you'll start to feel uncoordinated. You'll have trouble hearing your coaches if they're talking to you, and your eyesight will change too. These are various symptoms that happen when that flood of adrenaline goes out. Too much adrenaline. Yes, you want to jack your heart rate into your perfect athletic heart rate, and for each one of us, that's a different number. You need to find yours as an athlete. When I help athletes find that number and find their place just naturally, when they know that they're not triggering too high, that's when they're performing optimally. That's when they're in the zone. And that is what I coach. I'm Elle with Pressure-Free Living, Pressure-Free Performance, Pressure-Free Productivity. Have a great day, and may you be stress-free all day.